And yeah, what somebody said about the ROMs' USB and BSB2 and LMR being on that banner means that it is good for me. It just, I really like that USB and into the future. So, should I pull ROMs' USB? Then I will likely quit the banner and wait until the next tactics banner. Oh, no. Okay. So, the next event that aired just recently in Japan is the Final Fantasy V event, which introduces 2 new characters to the game. Friends of Galuf and Dorgan, I hear. I actually haven't played Final Fantasy V myself, so I don't know that, but that's the word on the street. I'm sure someone in chat will confirm or deny it. So, first off, we have two new ninja skills. And they're both Earth, and they're both clones of currently available physical ninja skills that we have. There's the Earth ninja skill that generates a stack of blink and gives you blink stack. And then there's the ability that takes advantage of them. So if you do have, 1 or more stacks of blink on yourself, then you deal more damage, or you do more hits, dealing more damage with Desert Mirage. There are no Earth Ninjas in Global, and there weren't any Earth Ninjas until this event came out. There are now, because one of these new characters introduced with the event is an Earth Ninja. So, Zizat, I don't know, Zizat, Combat 4, Spellblade 5, Black Magic 4, and Night 3. So, a Spellblade. Looks like an Ice Spellblade. Another one of those. RM4, chance for attack to turn in Frost Strike, sucks. Spellblade damage 9% and sword damage 3. It's alright. Oh, Spellblade damage 12%. Okay. It's better. Kelger, Combat 5, Celerity 5, Ninja 5, and Thief 4. So a Combat 4 capable ninja. That's interesting. Can use swords. Can you use swords? Yeah, you can use swords too. Ooh, you have a nice equipment pool. Katanas, axes, and hammers, and spears too. But I'll take a ninja that can use swords. That's cool. I'm in on that. Last RM, attack becomes instant cast with heavy damage but does not grant soul break points. Not terribly useful. Ninja damage plus 9%. That's nice. Sword damage plus 3. So that's good. I think overall this may be better. It's definitely better than Edge. Edge loses some of his effectiveness when it comes to his dives, I think. But this is nice. I mean, sword damage 3% might as well be 3% damage. You can always find swords to give to people. Balance changes. Gafgarian gets legend materia. Oh, no, his legend materia changes. Low chance changes to medium chance to self-smart ether when dealing dark element damage. Whatever. Yeah, I'm gonna rush out to Legend Dive Gafgarian now. Dorgon Legend Spheres. Night damage 9% and double blind resist. Whatever. Zat. 9% spellblade damage and double blind resist. Whatever. And Kelger, ninja damage 9% and double slow resist. The better of the three. So Kelger is looking pretty good. I like his record spheres. I like his legend spheres. And let's take a look at his legend materia. Kelger no double cast ninja, that stinks. Something went wrong. Well, don't go. Make sure something doesn't go wrong. This is how you give me something hasn't gone wrong. You give me the stupid HTML view. Whatever. So Dorgon gets a 35% chance to dual cast night abilities. Nice. Grants attach earth at the beginning of the battle. Nice. And night abilities deal... should be 15% more damage. Nice. Spellblade abilities... percent chance of Smart Ether 1 to the user after using an ice attack. Well... I don't care about that on Gafgarian, but... it's a different matter when you've got... Snow Spell Strike. I don't know. It depends on what he has. Like, if there's anything that he can use that strongly synergizes with the use of Snow Spell Strike, then maybe. Maybe we're getting there. But his LMR is at least 25% chance to dual cast. Kelger, increase earth damage by 10%, and LM2 is 30% chance to grant quick cast 3 to the user after using a ninja ability. That sucks. And LMR is 25% chance to grant physical blink 1 to the user after using a ninja ability. It's fine, but not having a double cast really hurts. We'll take a look at the banners. First up, Dorgon's USB, which, so the theme, I've seen it, the theme of this banner is elemental gear for 2 elements that we have very little elemental gear for. So you could hate every single one of these characters and still want to pull on this banner, because in doing so, you're making the rest of your team better. And right off the bat, we see that this is a 6-star, 20% earth damage up sword. That's nice. 180 attack. That's standard for the current level of power creep. Bonds of Dawn. 10 single target, earth, wind, physical, and earth. Self-defense plus 100% for Earthbringer usage, and additionally cast Sandy Winds when using night abilities. This just screams Earthbringer. What's Sandy Winds? 2 to 6 Earth Wind physical damage based on triggering ability rank. Ooh, yes. That is a super powerful USB. Artists, no, you haven't missed a whole lot. Right at the beginning of the first banner. I love this USB right away. I love the relic. I love the USB, and Dorgon's actually a good character. So I'm in. Earth Beatrix? I would say better than Earth Beatrix. Because I don't think Beatrix gives 100% defense, right? Attack defense plus 30%. No, this is this USB. Yeah, but the 5-hit holy thing is not as strong as Earthbringer or Guardbringer, and reduces her statistics. I like Dorgon better. And Beatrix is more popular, sure, but I like Dorgon's USB better than Beatrix's. Next up, Zizat. I'm just calling it that. USB, the sword itself is a plus 20% increase ice damage sword. So this is 2 swords, by the way, not just off equipment. There's 2 swords that both have increased damage for their respective elements. 10 single target. Oh, that is correct? Okay. Alright, I'm in. Ice, Lightning, Physical, and Ice, Self Quick Cast 1, and Spellblade Ability Boost. So you Quick Cast 1, that's it? And then you get Spellblade Ability Boost? I was hoping for something that could synergize better with Snow Spell Strike. This does not. Oh, and even worse, the ability boost is based upon the hone level of the ability. That stinks. I'm sure the character is probably fine with Snow Spell Strike. I was just hoping for something more. Quick Cast 1. Isn't really enough. Notice that USBs that have Quick Cast 1, when you use an ability and you keep on chaining the Quick Cast, allows you to attack faster. And in Dorgon's case, you use the ability and then you add in more damage afterwards. Using the chase. But with this, you're loading all of your damage boost and ice, Spellblade ability boost, into those 4 hits of Snow Spell Strike. And that boost is based upon honing Snow Spell Strike to R5, which I would assume is probably even difficult for 4.5 months from now. So you're capping out at 40,000 damage. I already clear 40,000 damage with characters that I'm using now with their USBs. So I think this is a pretty underpowered USB, unfortunately. Yeah. At least it's a plus ice sword. And it's a fine USB, it's just underpowered compared to other things. But the sword itself is plus ice damage, so that's great. Next up, we have another USB for Kelger. Kelger's sword, I believe, is also plus earth damage. It is. So, keeping score, 2 plus ice damage, or plus earth damage swords. 6-star native swords. Squall tier? Absolutely not Squall tier. Um, 10 single target Earth Wind, Self Blink, Ninja ability boosts, which I believe is just, 30% ninja ability damage based on ability rank. That's much better. Because that's a 5-star, the 5 stars abilities that he's using. And additionally casts Lupine Chase when using Earth abilities. Lupine Chase is 4, 6, or 8 single target Earth Wind physical damage based on number of blink on self. This is really powerful. Does it make up for the fact that he does not have access to a double cast Legend Materia? I think so. Because Ninja ability boost. I wonder how that interacts with the chase. Because it does count as a ninja ability, but how many uses does Lupine Chase considered having? Probably 0, so nothing. At most 1. Oh, loop. What? What's the damage on the chase? I don't know. It's not on here. Oh, no, here we go. It is. We don't know. Don't have multipliers yet. Oh, I can check. I'm assuming it's a sword. It's a sword. Thank you very much for the bits. Well, it's going to be strong regardless, even if he doesn't have access to dual casting. So that's okay. It just could have been better, and that's all. And lastly, we have the return of Galoof's Platinum Hammer, which is also plus earth damage, except this is obviously a hammer. Party attack and magic 30% in haste. Is this familiar? And earth. That's it. Kinda sucks, I think. Nice if you're trying to make a hybrid Earth team, which exists. I used the hybrid Earth team for my Hydra fight. But yeah, this would be, this is pretty average. This is very old. This was created by a different dev team than some of the USBs that we have right now. But anyway, it's an Earth Hammer. And there are people out there, I believe Barts can use hammers. I know Ingus can. Maybe not. Yeah, Barts can't use hammers, unfortunately. But Ingus can. God, I'm so glad I can see who I'm looking at right now. HTML view. Gladiolus can't use hammers. Oh well. So this is an Ingus hammer. Or maybe a Galoof hammer, if his BSB2 is any good. We'll see if it is. Now moving on to the BSB section, we have 4 of those as well. First off is Kelger. Speed Sonic. 8 single target, Earth, Wind, Physical, and Earth, and Burst Mode. Burst commands are Lupine Claw. 4 single target, Earth, Wind, physical damage with short cast time. Sure, short cast time is great. 2 single target, Earth, Wind, physical with short cast time, self blank 1. I don't really care. Is that supposed to be, I have the 5-star ninja ability in my second slot, along with Life Siphon. And I use this to give myself Blink 1. But no Blink stacking, so you can't get 2 stacks. So you're limited on how much damage you can do with the 5-star ability. Yeah. Well, anyway, the first command is nice. Just wish the second command was a little more useful. Ooh, Guy can use hammers. And yeah, Guy's BSB isn't bad. Alright, Galoof's BSB2. 8 single target, Earth Fire, Imperil Earth. Good start. 4 times Earth Fire. 2 times single target, self-critical 50%. Well, that's unfortunately not too great. Those would have to be some pretty massive multipliers on that command, which we don't have access to at the moment, so I can't tell. But probably not. Not big enough to make that a good command. Okay, next up, Zazat. BSB, 8 single target, random, Ice, Lightning, Physical. Imperil Ice. What is your burst mode? And what is your helm? 11. Ice damage up. Ice armor. Nice. Imperil Ice burst mode. Blade of Echoing Ice. 3 single target, Ice Lightning range. Self Spellblade damage 3. So that's a 15% increased Spellblade damage. 2 area of effect. Dark Bargain. It's pretty decent for a burst. Not as good as his USB, which just goes to show how far USBs have come in relation to BSBs. Yeah, this banner is basically a few good relics so far, or a few good soul breaks so far, but mostly some awesome relics. Awesome relics. So we got Earth Sword, Ice Sword, Earth Sword, Earth Hammer, and Ice Helmet, and it doesn't stop there. So this is a pretty decent BSB. Just not as good as his USB for dealing ice damage with Snow Spell Strike. Next up, we have Dorgon's BSB-1, which is fine, because Dorgon's BSB-1 is actually good. For one, it's Earth Heavy Armor, a good start. And next up, we have Imperil Earth, and a party attack and defense plus 30%. That's a nice buff to add on to something like Shout on a physical Earth team. And it has those good commands that increase night damage. As well as Meikyo Shisui on the second. So it's not even Dark Bargain or Hailstorm. It's attack and resistance plus 30% instead of plus and minus. So I really like Dorgon's BSB. Definitely not as much as that USB though. But that group buff plus the Imperil is really nice on entry. Legend Materia Relics. Zazat's Gloves. I think this is an Ice Bracer. Yeah, that is a plus 20% ice damage bracer. So 34 attack, and it does have magic on it. But it's obviously, that's a huge attack. Low chance to double cast Spellblade abilities. So that's it's a good Legend Materia as well. Next up, Kelger's Cloak. Looks like light armor, and I'm guessing it is plus earth damage light armor. More wins, so low chance to self-blink when using ninja abilities. Next up, Bastard Sword for Dorgon. Finally something that doesn't have Elemental Plus. Start battle with N-Earth. That's very good for Dorgon. Galoof. Low chance to double cast monk abilities. That's fine for Galoof. You could probably make his Galoof's USB actually kind of useful. If you're double casting monk abilities, he can start the battle by using his USB to give attack and magic plus 30% and haste to the party. And then follow that up by using like Meteor Crush, and then use Gaia Crush as your second ability. So it's actually not that bad, the fact that he gets an Earth with that, because there are some good Earth abilities that he can take advantage of, and being able to take advantage of a double cast monk too is nice. So Galoof isn't awful. His USB is better than it has any right to be. But still isn't all that great. Anyway, Kelger. This looks like heavy armor on a ninja? Yeah, it's got, I mean, that's a radically larger, higher defense. Higher than resistance. That's heavy armor. I didn't tell you to translate, dummy. Lepine Howling. Yeah, it's heavy armor. But anyway, that's more Earth plus armor. So 2 plus Earth heavy armors as well. Lupine Howling. That's a really good Super Soul Break. 0 cast time, 40% max HP Medica, and Physical Blink. That's actually really good. When I don't see Super Soul Breaks on banners, I always think to myself that stuff like this is what we're missing out on. I understand that BSBs can take the place and even do more. But I know there's some good Super Soul Breaks out there like this that I would actually want to pull. Alright, next up is that. 6 single target Ice Lightning and Party Smart Ether 1. Not anywhere close as good as Kelger's. This is probably a banner I need to pull on. Even if I didn't care for any of these soul breaks, and some of them are really good, this mass cluster of plus earth and plus ice relics is just way too good to pass up on. Way too good. And there are some good stuff on the banner too. I think it's highlighted by Dorgon's USB. I think this is fantastic. Kelger's is actually great as well. The strike against it has nothing to do with the USB itself. I think this is a fantastic USB. It's just that Kelger can't double cast. For BSBs, I like both of the elemental armors, Zazats and Dorgons. So, double the reason to want to pick these up. 25% chance to double cast Spellblades on Zazat would be great because he's both his super and his USB is going to be using Snow Spell Strike, so you want to dual cast that ability. Earth Light Armor, I'll just take it because that's for mages. It's the only thing here plus Earth that I could put on a mage. So I want this relic regardless. Maria says give. Okay, so that's first banner. I'm probably rolling on it. And it being an elemental relic banner means that you can't go wrong. You either get relics or you get more relics. And if you get more relics, that's cool. If you get dupes, that's also cool because elemental weapons and armor. Next up, we've got Krill's USB. Creel, sorry. Slipner's Tail. Fire damage up whip. Okay. Who else relevant can use that? For soul breaks. I suppose it's worth mentioning that Onion Knight can use it. just because he doesn't use a soul break with it doesn't mean he can't make prime use of it with his skill set. I mean, he uses his Sage Mode USB, and all of a sudden you're doing gigantic meltdowns. But anyway, the USB itself, 10 single target fire non-elemental and fire, self-magic and resistance plus 30%, and additionally cast Flame Dance when using fire abilities. Flame Dance is another one of these. They're really just dipping into this well over and over and over again. This is a fantastic USB. This is just fire version of Ash. Thank you, Solus, for posting that. Anyway, this is great. Everything about it's great. I wish it was a more accessible relic, but I'm fine with a whip because she can use it and she's awesome, and Onion Knight can use it and he's not just awesome. He's Onion Knight. Next up, Whale Whisker. RS dark damage up. Boo hoo. 6 area effect. Oh yeah, this is Grand Cross, which is good. Party magic and mind plus 30% and Grand Cross. Yeah. A place to pick up Grand Cross if you don't have access to it. I think it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to get both versions. Since I've started using Grand Cross, I've noticed that Celeste is like fantastic versus Holy and Ice in fights that do require Grand Cross, but otherwise she's just like a defensive utility character if you're just using her for Grand Cross. And I think X-Death is a worse version of that, because he's fantastic against dark fights that also require Grand Cross. But otherwise, well, but with the party magic and mind buff, I suppose he could always be useful. It's probably better than Celeste. Because, I mean, take out the area of effect damage and just make it non-elemental, which means it's going to be negligible. Grand Cross and a party buff is still fine, instead of the selfish Celeste version. Okay. So I think it's better. Anyway, Bart's OSB, wow. It's an oldie. Creel OSB, which is good here, because Creel gets an awesome USB on this banner, so her OSB being here as well is a good thing. I wish Ash's OSB showed up on the banner that has her version of this USB. It does not, and that's probably playing a heavy role into why I'm not pulling on it anymore. Chat just came back on my screen. It was either Twitch or Streamlabs. At least it's working now. That's all that matters. So, Hearts OSB being here is a little weird. I guess it's fine. I think not a lot of people have Bart's OSB. So if you're one of the many people that pulled heavily for Bart's USB at some point, there were no like places where that and his stuff appeared where his OSB also appeared. So maybe you waited on Bart's until his USB, like me. Which means that both of the relics for Bart's on this banner, or all three? Yeah, all three. No, just 2 of the 3 are stuff that you wouldn't have, probably don't have, and definitely don't have when it comes to Bart's BSB 5. But what I've been noticing with Bart's is that it's a lot tougher to use him together with BSBs as well as its USB. And probably makes a lot more sense to use another character if you can, unless you're... I'll be able to determine that better after I've used Shulk with her Legend Dive. So here's the problem with Bards. He requires an Entruster if you want to use his USB together with an element BSB. He requires entrusting, and he probably requires... I did some experimenting on Hydra with him and his BSB3. He probably requires Thunder God, because casting 2 Soul Breaks takes up a lot of time. Unless you use his USB first, which gives him the ×2 cast speed multiplier, but that's ineffective in its own right, because that's wasting part of the USB's X mode on using a Soul Break instead of a Spellblade ability. So it'll run out early in the fight, and you lose the ability to chase. So what I did instead was I used Thunder God on him, and cast his BSB3 first. So then you cast the USB, which gains damage from the plus 80% from the BSB3, and you're doing all this at 3 times cast speed because you've got Thunder God on, and he needed to be entrusted as well. So what are we losing here? Yes, this is all great. It sounds fantastic, but what are we losing? 1 position on your team to an Entruster. It's kind of fine. You're usually doing that anyway. And you're losing 30% damage. To using an RM to increase his cast speed. Obviously, because you're increasing his cast speed, you're increasing his damage output at the same time. And it all makes sense. But it's one of those situations where you need to weigh that you're losing something to gain something, and it's worth it. It's just you're not gaining as much as you think that you're gaining. That's all. I guess that's what I'm trying to put across. So that's why currently on the gem selection banner, I am not snap call taking Bart's BSB2. Because... %? Oh, well, yeah. No, it's not 40%. Because you're only getting 40% on casting Spellblades. If I'm thinking of the record materia you're thinking of. So that's not a 40% damage increase, because you're not just using Spellblades with Bards. You're using 2 Soul Breaks during the course of the fight. Now, if you're desperate for water, I mean, look at my Hydra situation, Shadow. I have Bart's and Maria. And that's it for Earth. So, pairing those 2 up with an Entruster makes sense. Because there's no one else I could put in that slot anyway. Well, I'm talking about overall damage. Like, everything that he does during the course of a fight marked. Which is Spellblade damage mixed with Life Siphon mixed with Soul Breaks. Have I done this banner? I don't know what you mean. Am I done analyzing it? No. But I'm in the middle of that now. It's just, we made it to Bart's BSB 5, and this is a pretty relevant topic for Bart's BSB 5. Like, there's going to be a lot of people out there that want to complete Bart's, because, you know, he's the 4 elemental guy. It's just awesome, Strider. That's my take on Krill's USB. So they want to get Bart's BSB 2, 3, 4, and 5, because those would be the 4 elements to pair with his USB. And I'm trying to present a counter argument against even going for any of them. It is fine in situations where you're choked, right? Yeah, Bart's as of this event will have 5 BSBs. So I'm going to look at the BSB itself, just to go into it, and why I would not care that this exists on this banner, even though I'm a staunch Bart supporter. The commands are 4 times fired non-elemental and 3 times spellblade damage plus 3 attacks. It's just it's fine. It's just not a, rock your socks off BSB. It's just a generic BSB for the purpose of giving Bart End Fire. I don't care about it. I just don't care about it. I like and don't mind running Bart's as a singular character that doesn't require any entrusting at all. And I think he's extremely effective that way because his USB is just that powerful. So if you can entrust somebody else on the party with Bart's in it, then please feel free to do so. I think the only reason you would entrust Bart's would be to just get his USB out faster. Or maybe the last cast of the fight, recast USB. I think that's what I do on Hydra. Yeah. Because it's so effective using Spellblades with him. Actually, I think it may be potentially more beneficial to cast a Spellblade with him than to use his... No, well, if you have an element. So, anyway. Don't feel like you're required to pick up his BSBs to pair with his USB. That's all I'm saying. And it took a long time to say that, but I kind of needed to explain my reasoning for it. I may still pick up Bart's BSB2 off of the Gem Selection banner because I may be kind of locked into Tidus and Bart's being my water characters, which would be very similar to my Earth team, where I'm locked into 2 characters. But that may change in the very distant future in the 3rd anniversary, where Yuffie and her USB and her insane stuff launches and she becomes a water goddess. Which at that point would make Bart's BSB3 kind of, or BSB2 not that big of a deal because I would just be running Tidus Bart's with CSB USB and then Yuffie. So anyway, moving on. Oh wait, Bart's Model 22. What is it? It is fire damage light armor? Thanks, +1. I can't even tell if it's light armor or not. Maybe we can find out on here. Oh, Bart's, where are you? Bots. There you are. Oh, not released yet, right. I remember while I'm doing these distant previews, it always becomes active. Because it's just, this is the time where the second banner drops in Japan. It's light armor? Okay, thank you. It's fine, Fadan, but it's Yeah, it's not that powerful compared to other stuff that you could be using. No, SCY. The place that Japan got Yuffie's Legend Dive, it probably won't be happening for us, so it's anybody's guess. He's usable. Yeah, that would be the word for it. It's just usable. Alright, Lena's BSB2. Warm Blessing. Ooh, Kiraga Medica. Minor ice resistance to party. And burst mode. Zero cast time Kiraga and mind 30%. Okay, alright. It's useful in a different way from the heavy regen of the other zero cast time Kiraga commands. Sure. I mean, it's better than her BSB1. It's a healer BSB, and they gave her something that allows her to be a healer. So I'm fine with that. It's a zero cast time commands. If she manages to heal herself for that plus 3% mine, then power to it. But minor ice resistance is not that powerful. It's something, I guess. Galoof's BSB1. It's definitely pretty underpowered by this point. It does have a 25% max HP heal on the first command and a 30% on the area of effect command. It's fine. But yeah, it's kind of underpowered. Gogo's Rod. So if you want a chance at Gogo's plus Water Rod, there you go. Bart's BSB2 is also here, because I like throwing that places. It's RS only plus water, unfortunately. And Xdeath's BSB, which is just a fairly decent Imperil Dark for a mage. Probably not that desirable at this point in the game. At least it is a plus Dark Rod, which may or may not be valuable at that point in the game. It depends. Next we move on to the Legend Materia. We have no supers on this banner. Lena's LMR, low chance to cast Minor Medica when using white magic abilities. Well, that's cool. That is like Aerith. But again, I think the same issue that I have with Aerith. Is that Lena doesn't do anything for the party but heal them and protect them. I would love to see this on someone that actually augments the party in some way. Actually, that's not true. Lena's USB. I forgot about Lena's USB. Lena just becomes flat out better than Aerith with this. Of course, Lena's USB is not on this banner, only her BSB2 is. But if you've got Lena's USB, if you're one of those lucky people, this is really good with Lena's USB. I like that a lot. So what this does is it gives her a chance to do a 25 potency Medica to the team every time you use a white magic ability. That's the same potency as a command 2 on a healer burst. So it can get up there. Especially if she's legend dive. Does she have a worthy legend dive? I forgot. I have not looked at Lena in a long, long time. 40% to grant heals plus 30% for 10 seconds after using a white magic ability. And that's 40%. That's actually kind of high, and heals plus 30% is going to increase the level of that Medica a lot. So you're going to be looking at, if you Legend Dive Lena and have this LMR, you may be looking at 3,000, a chance to cast a 3,000 Medica every time you use a white magic ability. I think Lena with your USB is actually really, really good with all of this stuff. Creel's dress, 32. Fire damage up. And it's light armor, magical light armor. Start battle with fire. That's fantastic for her. Right? Sort of. Yeah, it is. Because it's not like she has access to anything to help her out with Soulbreak Gauge. So what you're doing with Creel at the start of the fight, say you have her USB. You're starting the fight using Meltdown, I would say. You start the fight using Meltdown until you're able to use her USB. And starting the battle with Endfire Meltdowns is not a bad way to start the fight. And then once you have her USB active, whether naturally or through Entrust, preferably through a small Entrust, then you start using a rank 5 Chain Faraga. Unless you could switch that and reverse that if you somehow have a rank 5 Meltdown. Because her USB scales off the rank of the ability that you're using. So anyway, this is a really good LMR for Creel. These fit on some people, and these don't fit on some other people. Valley Garmanda is a thing with Creel too. That's true. Bart's is Maximilian. We all know about this one. Seen it a few times. 10% chance to add 2 more casts of a Spellblade ability. It's pretty good. It's especially good for 30-second clearing. If you want to wait until you can bend RNG to your will. And X-Death's Visage. Start battle with Endark. Is that good for him? Not really. I think if I'm using X-Death in a team, it's because I'm using his USB, which means I'm probably going to Mako Might out his USB because it's a party buff. So, well, his USB doesn't give him Endark, does it? Okay, no, that's good. Because once you use his USB, so say first turn you Memento Mori, second turn USB, and third turn you start, Dark Zone. That's actually good. Never mind. Is there a chance we get the LMR choice banner? Yeah, there's a chance. There's a chance of a lot of things happening. Yeah, that's what I said when I got to X-Death's USB, is that I feel like it would be more useful than Celeste's BSB2. Oh yeah, we're going to take a look at some animations now. Well, I want to talk about the banners first, and then we'll get to the animations. So, Banner 2 is more like a typical banner, and it's a pretty decent banner. Creel OSB and USB. Bart's OSB if you don't have it, but I think Creel, X-Death, taking up these 3 slots is a pretty damn good top end. I have a lot less nice things to say about the BSB section. I pretty much don't really care that much about any of the 6, and this is a big hole in the banner, I think. It's fine. The stuff is fine. Like, the Bart's BSBs are okay. Lena's BSB is finally a healing BSB for Lena, and if you plan on using her as her healer, a strong healer, with her USB and Legend Materia, you also want to have a burst available for her, because it's just nice to have bursts on healers. Even Rose's is useful, because Rose's USB is so powerful. Just having a burst on a healer that you plan on using anyway is good. The only real miss here is Galoof, I think. X-Death's is It's okay. So it's not a terrible section, but nothing that really strikes me as being, you know, essential, where all four of these things either are or could be, depending on your situation. Legend Materia is good if you have a USB. It just stinks that Lena's USB isn't on this banner. I think this feels like a Lena USB banner. If you have Lena's USB, I would be so much more thrilled with this banner. So if you have Bart's USB, but nothing else, then you're looking at a good banner as well. I mean, OSB, BSB2, BSB5, and LMR. Good here. XDEF, Creel. This is, yeah, and this is all good Legend Materia. So, the BSB section being either okay or pretty decent will kind of make or break it, I think. The BSB section's like the new Super Soul Break section. And the LMR is just hit or miss. Sometimes it's good because everything works together with the USBs, or sometimes it's just awful. And in this case, Lena's works with an off-banner USB, Krill's works with the USB on the banner, XS works with the USB on the banner, and Bart's is Bart's. Off-banner USB. Would you ever use Bart's OSB if you had his USB? Yes, as a finisher. Right, just like Sola said. It's a 10.0 multiplier. What would you have to do with Bart's using a Spellblade to measure up to his OSB? So 10.0 multiplier. Spellblades have, what, a 3.4? So dual cast and 8 hit? Dual cast and 8 hit? Chase would be better than OSB. I think more often than not, I will take his OSB. For the sure 10. I don't think it's possible for the USB entry to ever do more than the OSB. USB entry is a 7.0 multiplier. Oh, Cloud USB. If you have Cloud USB summoned on Bart's, you could potentially exceed 100,000 damage. Where with the OSB you could not. Okay, so let's take a look at some animations. I said my piece about the first banner. I swear by elemental relics, so I'm in. Annie up. Whale's beard. Galoof USB. That is an awesome animation for a buff soul break. That was totally awesome. I want it. Encore? As we pass by Gilgamesh's relics, let's take a moment of silence. Remember the character that Gilgamesh could have been, or that was once upon a time. Karuru. That's Kirill. Those who think deeply. I really need to turn this translate off. It's pretty bad. Kelger's USB. That was very suitably ninja. Let's take a look at the chase. I like the entry. What? What? That was really cool. It's like Xylo from Shining Force 2. I'm all in. I love this. Who's better, Greg or Delita? Delita. This one's taking a while to load. I guess bursts do. They have to show the animations of the commands. Fine. Maybe I'm just biased because I just saw his USB and loved it. And Kelger's heavy armor. Ninja heavy armor. I love it. This awesome Super Soul Break. Instantaneous. It's so quick too. It's great. He leans back and howls. He howls at the moon. Okay. Magic Sword Arbitration. Zazat's USB. Hey, what's going on? It's not bad. It's not glue for Kulgers, though. Wow. There's a lot of stuff going on the screen right now. This is his BSB. Short, but better than his USB. I love that his sword actually turns into an ice sword. And, Zazat Super, which I don't think anybody really cares about. We don't. Dolgan. Uh-oh. I haven't even played Final Fantasy V, and I need that. I need that in my life. I love this little... Why? I love these little these earth orbs that he's got. To let you know that his thing is active. Oh god, I need it. Repeat it? Yeah, I just really like the effect. It's really like recognizable. You're not going to be able to miss it if that like fades or something. Unlike, you know, in ice and in wind and burst mode and stuff like that. We don't have the animations for the second banner yet. What's this? This is burst 2. So if we have this, we should have the others. Lena has such good animations. Oh, burst 2 already came out? Oh, okay. Gotcha. Like, you guys remember her first? It wasn't her first. But this is the first soul break that I got for Lena. Like, this is... Flames of War, man. Shout light. I always thought that was a cool animation. Alright, so I guess we have to wait, huh?